Hello, and welcome to World Ballet Day 2020. Over the next 45 minutes, we'll take you behind the scenes at Queensland Ballet for a sneak peek of studio rehearsals, company classes, and coaching sessions. You will hear from our dancers about life in isolation and the incredible 60 dancers, 60 stories works that arose from their laundry rooms and kitchens during that lockdown period. Please join us on a tour through our state-of-the-art academy and hit the road to Gondwendi with our incredible teaching artists who take this magical art form to so many communities across Queensland every year. We've got so much to show you over the next 45 minutes, and our dancers are poised to answer any questions you may have. Please sit back and enjoy our celebration of World Ballet Day. Thank you. Let's do our PK exercise. We do PK arabesque 1, lower 2, PK attitude lower, PK arabesque again, chassé to 4th, double pirouette, close 5th, change direction. All right? I want to control in the toes metatarsals. And the arms need to get there on the point of PK, not be late. Ready? And. And there, a little bit slower. Yeah. Good. Control the coming down. Good. Lucy, open all the way to the side before you go up. Stay in play until the arm is ready to go up. Better. Feel the plie before the push, before the PK, plie and. Thank you. The arms pathway is quite important. The natural rhythm is from there as you are still in plie, and then as the arms go up, that's when you do the releve. So you don't want to go somehow or too late. It also wouldn't work. Has to be absolutely perfectly timed. So that will give you the right coordination. If the pathway is wrong, then the coordination is not going to be there for you. Let's do chassé pas de bourrée, pirouette, chassé pas de bourrée, pirouette, chassé pas de soutenu, chaîne, and double limb duck. All right? I want total free head up there. The head is going to give you the rhythm. Ready? And. still feel slightly better. Still that first arm you let fly away, rather than give better tension and coming in and like resistant coming. Almost. Otherwise, there's no tension. Free head. Better. Much freer head. Lucy, I still don't feel you get there soon enough on the period. I still feel your arm's not quite getting there when you relieve it. Needs to be already in that top position by the time you relieve it. Yes, better. Kiara, I still feel there's no resistance. Has to self-generate that resistance on the way in. Don't just throw that arm away. Can you give a free swing? Swing out and in. Swing, come back in. Swing, come back in. Yes, needs that rhythm. Can't be held. Almost. Better. Assembly, entendant, assembly, brise, yeah, up. All right? Shall we? And. Good. Really point these feet hard. Point the toes. Point. Good, David. And a point. Good. Better. Good. Échappé, battu, échappé. A gentleman on the chassis. You can go on the chassis. Ladies, you can do beat. Sisson, freme, pas de bourrée. Glissa, cabriel. Hop, coupe, jeté, and chassé, coupe, jeté, off on one. Okay, and 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, 6. Saison fermé, pas de bourrée. Glissa, cabriole, glissa, cabriole, and chassé coupé, and chassé coupé. All right? And Janella, don't throw that arm away at the end. Just stay there. Yeah. Georgia, Georgia. Yeah. On the seesaw, I want to see the front leg up as well. Weight in the middle, front leg up. Clayton, don't get stuck here on the glissade, on the side. And then on the back, you can come back, pass through it. Five, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, rotate. 4, 5, 6, 7. Return, let's say 8. Assembly 1, 2. Soutenu, ladies 4. Glissa, rotate, glissa, rotate. Gentlemen, chasse, soutenu, balancé, chassé, coupé, jeté, coupé, saut de basque. All right, ladies first. Gentlemen, tempo slower, please, Stephanie. Gentlemen, your slower tempo jump. Ready? Ladies first. And could I have four people? Ready? And Glissa. I want to see glissa hang in the air. Glissa, hang in the air longer. Hang there. Glissa needs to look like almost like small jeté. It's too loose. Gentlemen, slower. 4 people, 4. One more. One last group, and we go to the left side. Thank you.
came up with the concept of introspection by looking at the theme of love that they gave us, and I guess being sisters and being family, seeing how we could use that to our advantage. I think there were a lot of different directions we probably could have taken with it, and I think people often tell us how alike we are, so we thought we could really play on that in our piece and
use it sort of to create a mirroring effect with the camera angles and with the way that we were dancing. So similarly and symmetrically, I think it really, we tried to portray how like self-discovery and looking into yourself and finding out more about yourself was really a part of our lives during the time we were in isolation. And putting that into our new creation was really special for us, because like you never really get to discover yourself in a way that you don't have work and you don't have all of these other things that's going on in your life. You just have yourself and each other.
The process evolved probably more so once we got to our filming day. I think because it was so hard to choreograph in our space at home, we couldn't always, like we knew what the choreography was, but we couldn't actually practice it completely. So I think when we got there on the day, we had to kind of change some things and make things work and travel more.
It was also really difficult because we were on the sand for the first time and a lot of things didn't work how we thought they were going to work. You get your foot stuck in the sand and all sorts of things. So yeah, there was a lot of evolution when it was actually time to film the piece.
When we found out that we were going to be performing our piece, that was really exciting, and I guess we had no idea that, you know, we thought we were going to film it and it was done, that was it. But it was really exciting when we realised we were going to get to perform it on stage, and I think we adapted really well. It was almost easier to dance on a nice surface again with space and be able to move more freely.
It was also really good because when we filmed our piece, we wanted a 360 sort of effect, so we didn't have a front per se. So when we did it at the Powerhouse and the stage was set up like a cabaret style, it was quite easily adapted because we were constantly revolving and we were constantly opposite each other. So it worked really well, so everybody in the audience could see always like a nice angle rather than struggling to do it from one front to three fronts.
Yeah.
So, like everyone, 2020 has been a pretty rough year. It presented a really awesome opportunity to be able to create a work in isolation. That was a part of the 60 for 60 program for Queensland Ballet. That was kind of an interesting process because I was isolating with Alison McQueenie. She's a first soloist, and she was supposed to be guesting with us, but then COVID happened and yeah, she was stuck in Australia, which created a really awesome experience because we both got to create something and we hadn't done that before. And we created A Love Like Ours, and that was a piece about our friendship, about distance, about, you know, a lot of things that COVID was doing throughout the world. And it was really great to see it progress from creating in my living room to then, you know, reimagined to the theatre and then onto stage and then finally changing partners and dancing with George.
Yeah, so Alison lives in London. She dances with English National Ballet, so while unfortunately she didn't get to perform with us in Brisbane, it was super nice that while she was isolating with Joel that they got to have this time together and create such a beautiful piece. But unfortunately, we got really close with her, so she had to go home back to London, but it was great because we got to kind of reimagine it together and create something for the stage that Joel created already, something so beautiful just in his little 2 square metre target piece. So yeah, it was really nice to be able to step in for her and still like let Joel show everyone this amazing piece that he created in such a interesting time for everyone, I think, yeah.
character has always been a really, really special one for me. It was one of the first principal roles I ever got to dance, and even, well, before then actually, it was always a role that I had been desperate to dance, I guess. When I'd watched it, I'd really, the story and the character really resonated with me. And I think that's because I could really relate to the youth of her, the innocence, the naivety, I guess, and then the kind of growth that she goes through from falling in love for the first time, and then the tragedy of finding out that her lover isn't who he says he was, into the whole forgiveness and finally being at peace. And I think that kind of journey in a really broad sense is something so many people can relate to, and I definitely related to that. And yeah, that was why I always wanted to dance it, and it definitely is a really special role to dance. I love the costumes in Giselle, and I think the beauty of it is that these costumes really put you in the role and in the moment of, you know, the development of the character you're playing. So for example, in Act 1, Giselle is a very young peasant, and she's innocent and she's sweet, and she's also bright and joyful, and I think that the costume really does that for you. It's kind of blue, soft, but also like, I don't know, it makes you happy. It's a bit joyful. And then in Act 2, as a Willy, you're in your classic white romantic tutu with the layers of tulle, and the shape and the movement of the dress really complements your movement and the story, I guess. But I think also the layers of tulle and the way that they float and sort of make shapes around you and swirl with your movement is really, really beautiful, and helps to bring that kind of softness and that sense of you're not really a human, you're ethereal, you're a spirit. Yeah, you really get that when you put on that tutu. It makes you feel otherworldly. The Willies are the central part of Act 2, and they are spirits or ghosts who are women who have been jilted by their lovers and have died, and they've come back as spirits. They come out of the grave, and they basically make any man who crosses their path dance until he dies. So they're pretty nasty, but I also kind of love this idea of the revenge and the kind of the power of the women, the power of the core, this idea of them reclaiming what was taken from them. To be able to put on a full-length ballet in 2020 is a pretty special experience, and to be dancing out under the stars at Hotter is going to be fantastic. I think Giselle is the perfect ballet to, firstly, to perform in such a beautiful venue, and secondly, to come back to the stage too. It's such a special, special ballet, and I think it's going to be really moving for a lot of people, even us. It's going to be very moving for us to get back out there.
My name's Nigel Gaynor. I've been music director here for some 6 years now at Queensland Ballet. My background is very much focused in ballet, specialised in ballet. I started working with the Australian Ballet in 1982, and I worked with them for 16 years. And then I lived in England for about 15 years after that, working with companies including Royal Ballet, English National Ballet and Northern Ballet. And there were some other companies along the way as well, so I've been very lucky to have all that experience. I was also music director for Royal New Zealand Ballet for a number of years, and then at that point, which was about 2014, Lee invited me to come back and be a music director here at Queensland Ballet. The music director of the ballet looks after anything to do with music. So it starts, of course, with the most exciting part, the conducting. In my case, I also am an arranger and a composer. I also have a lot of experience as a pianist in ballet sphere, so I can help train our pianists, show them some tricks on how to do some very difficult scores that they have to play for. So help their training generally, not to mention audition for new members to our team. I also liaise with choreographers and composers and also other arts administration, such as the orchestras that we work with, and so that we can determine the best way to organise each of our programs. Well, this is an exciting place for music because we get to do the classics, the wonderful pieces by Tchaikovsky, Prokofiev and Stravinsky, all of which are terrific masterpieces. Always exciting to perform those. But then we also get to perform new works. We have special commissioned works, sometimes from Australian composers, sometimes from people further afield. We also have on our staff pianists who are very capable composers and improvisers and arrangers. And every single day that they come in, there's opportunities for them to play something new that the dancers or their staff haven't heard before. Ballet classes have constantly new music going on. So every single day is different. The music is always inspiring here. I enjoy hearing how the staff are going with playing, whether it be class or the reductions that they play for rehearsals. And then of course, meeting and developing new scores with composers and then finally performing them with the orchestras is very exciting indeed. Earlier this year we had a special project to take us through the COVID virus period. Lee requested that every dancer create a new work at home, and the music staff were responsible for providing the music. And that was quite an interesting challenge. It meant that the whole staff, including myself, would either arrange music specially or in fact compose music for the dancers of the company. So we had a lot of recording to do and a lot of arranging, and that was a lot of fun. And it was exciting to see just how terrific some of the pieces were. One of our pianists, Brett Sturdy, was asked if he could play a Gershwin piece, but for copyright reasons we're not allowed to do that. So as we couldn't use The Man I Love, Brett set about making a piece called Not the Man I Love. And it was just so brilliant, so clever how it had echoes of being the man I love. It was definitely not. It had Gershwin chords, it had a rhythmic structure in the melody line that was quite similar, but it was absolutely a different piece altogether, and it fitted like a glove to the choreography.
Hi, my name's Rani Luther. I'm Ballet Mistress and Creative Associate with Queensland Ballet, and this is my second year in the position. I absolutely love the company and so glad to be here. My career, I was with the Kiel Ballet after my training at the Victorian College of the Arts, and then got into my dream company, which was Netherlands Dance Theatre 2, and then I was in Netherlands Dance Theatre 1. I came back to Australia to dance with the Australian Ballet, and so really shifted up from contemporary into classical ballet, and then went back again to contemporary where I danced with Sydney Dance Company, and ended my career with a small company called Melbourne Ballet Company. So I've done many different things, which I absolutely love. My training was obviously at the VCA, definitely ballet based, classical based, but we did a lot of other styles. So I think in my sort of toolbox of genres, I definitely experience a lot of type of movements, and the style at NDT is still very classically based. The repertoire, however, is quite abstract. So for me, it was interesting coming back into the classical repertoire of different characters and so on, which I loved equally. Physically, I think it can take a toll because you're working in the more contemporary field, much more, I think, on the limits of your spine in different positions and different kinds of partnering, and then coming back to classical, the ankles, you know, there's a lot of joint wear and tear, etc., and hips for your turnout. So I suppose in a way I'd worked all facets of the body to its extreme. So therefore really found that quite, you know, I needed to keep on top of my injuries and keep strong where I could. So I am Ballet Mistress and Creative Associate. So part of my role of Ballet Mistress is the day-to-day running of the company, teaching ballet class, we rehearse, We're constantly there for performances to keep the, you know, the standard, so to speak, you know, holding the particular repertoire to standard. But also I love my role. I'm mentor for the young artists. So really they're here for a one-year contract, and we sort of, I suppose, take them under our wing and nurture them. We help them really in the beginning stage, probably the first 6 months, really open their eyes to the professional life, which can be quite daunting for a young, you know, a fresh student coming into the professional world. So really a lot about maintenance of injuries, their work ethic in the studio, how to sort of combat any nerves, etc. So we're really, Matthew, Lawrence and I, we join that position. So we're almost like Mama and Papa Bear to a certain extent. And we really make sure that they've got the facilities afforded to them by the entire company as well. But really nurturing, I suppose, is the main part of that role, nurturing and guiding. So I'm extremely fortunate to get to choreograph on the company, which I absolutely love. It's probably my #1 passion, and I walk through life seeing movement and seeing the reaction I have emotionally to music. So I've always got different pieces running through my head. So when I get the chance to choreograph, I feel in my element. I just love getting hold of these beautiful dancers and creating new repertoire, new movements, new steps. So very lucky.
After 44 years of not being able to do any ballet at all, I came back into the studio. The Queensland Ballet Seniors in Studio offers both bar work and centre work, and we also do some repertory work. It's given us the confidence of keeping to get going in our older age.
I like jumping and I play with my friend. A tutu. I like turning and skipping and jumping. My dress is light pink with my sparkle. And second, and fit. I really be happy when I dance.
Do you think you're a ballerina?
Yeah.
Of course you are. We are all ballerinas, aren't we?
Yeah.
Yes.
At Queensland Ballet, we're really lucky to have a wonderful team of education teaching artists who hit the road and visit around 25 locations each year, delivering a range of community classes for all age levels and experience levels, and then in-school workshops as well, and teacher PD sessions. So we aim to make arts accessible to everyone, regardless of their geographical location. So it's really important to us to make the same experiences that we have available in Metro Brisbane also available to regional and rural communities.
The most rewarding part about Regional Tour for me is that most of the students we see and we teach have never experienced dance before, particularly ballet. And so we are the ones that get to give them that first experience and to see their reaction when they're learning something new. And more times than not, they're really enjoying it, and you just get to see that joy and the excitement.
We've visited annually over the past, 5 to 7 years. So to see them each year and to hopefully inspire them and bring our industry knowledge and passion and that bit of QB to the regions and give them that experience is really special to us.
Stretch our toes to the side and close. And one more time, stretch.
Dance is so important for the crossing over of the body, and it actually highlights and helps students in their learning. It also breaks down stereotypes and perceptions on what dance is. It allows students that would maybe never have seen ballet or have an understanding of what ballet is to actually engage and understand. So for us, it's just such a fantastic opportunity for our school and our students.
I have been doing ballet since I was 3 years old. I've really enjoyed it.
Low quality.
My favourite part was learning the movements of the choreography.
your arms. Could you maybe even fly in a circle shape around yourself? So you're making a floor. We know that dance and the arts have many benefits, particularly for these regional communities. Of course, there's the physical benefit, but there's also the ability for students and teachers to create and to explore, to express themselves, and also, I guess, bring communities together and further that social connection.
Well, the initiative inspires regional communities to experience the physical, emotional, cultural and social benefits of dance and ballet. It's wonderful to think that from the studios of Brisbane, dance and ballet is being brought out to Goondiwindi and our surrounding areas and region. It's just great that the kids can experience that. And from a family point of view, it's amazing how it brings in the grandparents, the extended families, the neighbours, and everyone gets to experience that joy that's brought by Queensland Ballet out to our areas.
Exposure to artists in a professional way is something that some of our students would never get the exposure to, and so it's great to see in such a regional area.
We're very lucky that we've fostered the relationship with Queensland Ballet, and feels like they really appreciate students all over Queensland who would like to dance.
We've travelled over 3,500 kilometres. We usually engage with over 5,000 students and teachers across regional Queensland, and it's so lovely to see the students having fun, enjoying moving, and really that's what we care about, is seeing the smiles on the faces is just really special and adorable.
Ballet is such a special art form because it's very personal. You have to work on yourself, and the amount of improvement that you do is very individual to the amount of effort that you put in. Ballet has such a special way of challenging you because you're never going to be perfect, but it also makes you feel so satisfied because you put in so much work. When I perform, I try not to think about anything and I just be in the moment, because when you're rehearsing you have to think about all the corrections and everything you have to do to improve, but when you step on that stage you're just in the moment, and it's a really incredible feeling. Queensland Ballet Academy is like associated with Kelvin Grove State College, and it's amazing because you get to do half of your day here and dance, and then the other half you're at school. So the way that they combine them, it's really easy to make sure you get an education as well as following your dreams. When you walk into an audition, it can be quite intimidating because you have the panel watching you, but I think if you truly prepare, you've trained really hard, so you just have to focus on what you can do and just do your best, and hopefully they see that's something special. One of the highlights for me has been being a part of the QB 2020 season launch. The Academy did a little bit of a bar on stage, and I remember facing the back and starting my exercise, and I turned around to do the other side and it was just full. The audience was full, and I was like, oh! All the hard work you put in really leads up to performing on stage.
In order to be a male ballet dancer, you really need to have strength and athleticism. It's a very important aspect of ballet. You really have to have that determination.
There is a misconception about being a male dancer, but the reality, especially of the choreographers, the works that they're required to do today are incredibly physical, incredibly challenging, very, very masculine, very fast, very dynamic. And the dancers need to be ready for that.
It is a very physical art form. My teacher, Mr. Boyd, he likes to use the word tactile. I remember last year he would talk about us being tactile with the floor, and that really resonated with me, like going through the movements and using the floor and like using every part of your body to express art, yeah.
My aim is to develop good men. Respect for the profession, respect for women, respect for themselves. We've got some really lovely young men coming through. They're like my sons in a way. I have to be honest with you. I see them every day and we develop a very, very strong rapport over the time that they are here.
I also just like the strict nature of ballet, you know, the discipline that's required. And you can never be perfect. There's always room for improvement. I just think that's really amazing.
Queensland Ballet Academy has a fantastic faculty to train technically strong and also mentally strong male dancers.
We have targeted programs for dancers to develop throughout their growth. Along with not only male teachers teaching ballet technique, they're also supplemented with classes in body conditioning and physical strength, which is really targeted on how a male needs to develop and what a male needs in this career.
The teachers here are absolutely inspirational and have taught me so much in my years here. It's just an amazing learning environment. I'm inspired every day I walk through the doors.
To raise those good people and know that you can let them fly in the years to come, but you know that you can put them out there as good people, I think that's just as fulfilling as creating a good dancer. So that's our aim here.
Hi, I'm Taylor. I'm a student at Queensland Ballet Academy and I'm going to be showing you around this brand new facility. So this is the foyer where we sign in every morning and then go back to the dressing room. Come, I'll give you a tour. So we're in the amazing student quarters and here is the dressing room. And here is the kitchen where we can socialise, eat lunch and do homework before we go back to school at Kelvin Grove State College. We even have access to these physio rooms where we can consult with physios when we book appointments. They give us tips on how to prevent injuries and how to improve our strength. And it's really amazing to be able to work with professionals like these. So this is the Pilates studio. As a QB Academy full-time student, we can use this to warm up before and after class, and it's really great to work with such professional physiotherapists. I love dancing here at the Academy. There's even a class going on at the moment. Come have a look. Here at the Academy, we have 6 studios. This is Studio 7 and 8, and these are the biggest studios, and they double together to become a performing arts space. Here at the Academy, we're so lucky to have live music by pianists every day. One of my favourite classes here at the Academy is character dance because you get to be so free and you get to put your personality into learning the different forms of dance. This is one of the 4 studios that we have upstairs. At the moment, there's a contemporary class going on, but we also take classes like point, repertoire and character. And this is our gym. This is where the boys do their body conditioning classes, supervised by a professional coach. So this is the classroom at the Academy. Here we take additional studies like safe dance practice, ballet history, and career preparations. Thank you for coming on the tour of the Academy with me. We hope to see you soon.
It has been years in the making, but finally our dreams are coming true in 2021 with the opening of our new state-of-the-art Thomas Dixon Centre. In addition to being the home of Queensland Ballet, the building will be a world-class performing arts destination, a place to inspire peak performance, creativity and well-being. Right now, the site is a hive of activities and we watch in wonder as each part comes together. Thank you for joining us for World Ballet Day 2020. We have loved spending this time with you and hope you have taken the opportunity to ask lots of questions. We would like to extend a special thanks to our incredible donors and partners who have kept us dancing during this unprecedented year. If you would like to support Queensland Ballet, please visit keepthemagicalive.com.au. We are thrilled to be announcing our 2021 season in early December. We can't wait to be back in full force next year.